All right. So just a question. How many people here have actually looked into VWAP, right? Like VWAP in general, or have traded VWAP or actively trade with VWAP? Leaky. Got one, two. What is it? Augustin, Ray, Rye. So most people in here don't actually trade with VWAP. Oh man, you guys don't know what you're missing out on. All right. Oh shit. Is my phone? Hold on. Is this? Can you guys see this? This thing I'm moving on my on the screen right now? Oh fuck. Of course. All right. Okay. I'll move that out the way. All right. So, anyways, so VWAP deviation or VWAP standard deviation bands. VWAP. VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. It is a benchmark, if you will, of what fair value is. So when we say fair value, I'm talking about um, where price needs to go to in order to be considered the average price or the good price, where price or everyone at least agrees that the price should be at. And so when we're thinking about VWAP, you got to be thinking about this as like this is not a lagging indicator. It's not something like the SMAs or your moving averages. It is something that is going based on purely volume and price and like statistically, not statistically, but it's using math to determine where that average lies. The deviation bands or standard deviation is the standard deviation or distance away from the average price. And those are the different bands that you've seen on the screen, which will bring up. I'm going to bring up just this is information like this is mostly the informational portion of it. So you guys can get an understanding about why VWAP is important and why it actually matters and why it actually plays. So let's kick it off. All right, so there you go. Quick definition of VWAP, fair value anchor, calculates average price based on the weighted volume. A lot of big institutions use this as areas for entry or to maintain price as price is moving in things like ranges or continuing a trend. And so we're going to kind of talk about like why they're using these averages, why it's important to use these areas. And I'm going to give you some statistics, and these statistics are going to help you guys identify or at least like understand why you should be taking price in certain areas. Here you go. Now, you guys have seen those, like the purple box and the gold box on my screen. Well, these are what those purple boxes and gold boxes represent. One standard deviation is 60% or 68% of all price action. So what this means is that all price action in a day, statistically, not just made up numbers. If you're looking at the for example, the two standard deviation, when you heard me say 95% of all price action takes place within two standard deviations of VWAP, well, this is what it means. It means that if price is extending into these extremes, for example, the two standard deviation or the 2.51 standard deviation, we are vastly overextending where the average price is at and increasing the probability of reversal. So this would be something, or well, a lot of people call it mean reversion. So what is the mean price is VWAP. The reversion would be, hey, we've extended well beyond where the agreed upon average price is at, saying that there is a good chance of a reversal because it is now in premium versus being in discount. So whenever price does extend into these areas, if you know that it going beyond 2.51, which means the top side of my boxes, that there's only 1% of all price action takes place there. Think of it like this. Well, what is our chances that price is going to reverse as it overextends over there? Or how long do you think price will actually be able to stay there? That is knowledge that you guys need to use. for power in making your trade decisions to take high probability setups. And so that's why this is a very, very large portion of how I take my trades, because I know that if, for example, we're in the gold range, only 1% of all the price action that took place is likely to occur in this area. So what should I be looking out for in these areas? I should be looking out for a reversal. So these are just some like quick concepts. So within the one standard deviation, 68% of all price action. So the majority of all price action is going to take place at here. If we are in a range, chances are you're going to see us ranging between the VWAP, one standard deviation band, plus or minus from top to bottom. And I'll show you what it looks like on the screen, so it makes a little bit more sense. But it's pretty apparent. And I just want to make sure, can you guys hear me? I know I have my kids, they always love to start screaming right when I start training. It's like a what's it called? Tradition. Tradition. Oh, all right. So, yep, one standard deviation, pretty basic stuff. You guys, when trading VWAP or just in general, you always need to be able to identify when we are ranging versus when we're trending. It becomes very apparent during midday, and honestly, in my opinion, VWAP range trading becomes more effective about mid session of New York. But in the beginning, before the actual breakout, it plays pretty heavily as well. Right? So here, 1.28. So it's saying that, for example, if you were to take a trade from the lower side of, say you took it at VWAP, as we reach the 1.28 range, this is where where you're letting your runners run. But then at this point, you should be thinking, hey, I need to start bringing my stop losses closer because it could reverse at this point, because only 20% of the price action is going to take place above here. Same thing as we start getting into this. If we're in a trending day, this is where you should be looking to take profit. So when we hit the 2 standard deviation band, statistically, the chances of it going much further are not high, and the chances of reversal are very high. So if you're taking a trade up into the 2 standard deviation, this is where I tell people, is like, you should really, really consider getting out of this trade, because chances are it's going to reverse on your ass. And then, of course, as we get to here even higher, hey, this is like critically overextended. I've like on stream, I've even said this, guys. I was like, guys, we are in the fucking 3 standard deviation right now. I'm slapping this short right now, like blindly, like this, hands on my eyes, short. Fuck it, I think we're good. And it's worked out virtually every single time where I've made profit. So knowing this data is very important. Tracking where this stuff is at during the day is going to really help you understand where price is at and how much lower your chances of success are as we then reach into these areas. Okay. So yeah, this one's just a quick one, just understanding it, what to do versus range days versus trend days. It's not really that effective, so I'm just going to move on. But here's a quick overview of what you should be thinking about. And I'll just kind of leave that up on the screen real quick. Mm-hmm. That's the quick overview. So does anybody have any questions about just those slides and what I just covered? And feel free to unmute your mic at this point. Like, you guys can talk if you want. I just wanted to get you that quick overview so you guys can understand what VWAP is and what the importances are. The application of how to use it is really where the confusion gets into play. But for anyone who doesn't understand what VWAP was, that was a quick understanding of how you should be looking at VWAP. Anybody? Beautiful. Bueller? Great. I'm going to go pull up my charts. Give me a second here. Where? You had no idea? What'd you have no idea about? Or just VWAP in general? Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I'm like, and keep in mind, like, remember when I was trading a lot more, people would ask me, like, what indicator should I use? What should I be trading? You know, why should I be doing things like this? Or what should I use, if anything? And I always tell people, I was like, if there's one indicator or thing that I would be tracking no matter what, if I were to try to do this, like if I was going to trade this with absolutely nothing, the only thing that I would have on my screen is VWAP and standard deviation. That's it. I would only be looking at VWAP and standard deviation. Because to me, VWAP is too statistically sound, and it is a very, 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 very strong confluence. And that's why I weigh VWAP as a confluence a lot heavier than I weigh a lot of some of the other confluences I use.